Welcome to It Begins With Us, the podcast about domestic violence abuse. It is our mission to help anyone in a domestic violence situation. We started this podcast
as a safe space for survivors to tell their stories.
Completely confidential.
We can disguise your voice.
You can be off camera, and we're here to listen. Let's get started.
Welcome back to It Begins With Us, episode 15. We've got Angelica, Maria.
Miriam.
And we have our special guest, Jessie.
Hello.
And Sandy. Welcome, Jessie.
Hello.
So, we do a podcast about domestic violence and survivors.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're so happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be wonderful to learn from all of you guys as well and to see where maybe my influence can impact other people to ground from themselves, because I have to repetitively tell myself everybody has to have an affirmation that they abide by, or their culture that they live in. And mine is just, you are not what you went through, right? So I try to live for that every day. It's hard, but we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you seem like such a strong person. And just from talking to you the last few minutes, I can just tell you're so very emotionally intelligent.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful.
It's hard to find people like that.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah. That's very kind. I've taken years and years of my life to try to learn from the woman that I am right now. Like, I wasn't always perfect. The version of me that I believe in has a lot of calm. It's like mindful, it's stepping back. It's not so much uncomfortable. But that's where the most uncomfortable things come into play, right? Is when you're trying to find calmness. And it's been quite the experience for me. I grew up in a small town. I moved a lot, probably every state on the West Coast. Lived in a lot of different homes, never really a structured environment. So with non-structured environments, right, we're bouncing around trying to have connections with strangers.
Yeah.
And we can connect with any stranger, right? Anybody can, but when you're a child trying to connect and bond, I think it's a different level of connection. It's very faint. Right. It's very touch my hand here, but come this way a little further, but while you're still touching away, you're still pulling resistance. So like you learn that, and I didn't start like tapping and dabbling into emotional responses of lash outs till like after like elementary school. Like, I think that's where the rage kind of started brewing, because your hormones are coming in, right? Like everything's crazy. No one prepares girls for girl stuff until you become a girl, and then a woman happens, and then your whole life is just crumbling. Yeah. So I adapted in that, but I was also introducing myself to a lot of unhealthy, toxic tendencies. I was just experimenting, like so young with everything. Like I wanted to be so a part of this, like the social pop culture of what was happening when you're a kid. Like when you're around environments where partying is accessible, it's support, right? It's familiarity. Like it's the same friends that like no matter what happens, no matter what phase or version of you you're going to be, or what age, like when you have just random friend groups, that's your trusting group, right? That's a group that you've been rowdy with. That's the one that you're like, oh, we can never talk about those stories. They can never leave, like ever. But those are like the stories where you're just like, wow, that was the most vulnerable I've ever been in my life, to trust a person during social influence, right? Like, oh, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're just being a reckless kid learning, But I think a lot of those parts break you at points, right? Like you're so unaware as a child to what those environments expose you to. Like the surface level connections, the lack of intimacy, the reckless physical connections that you thought were so special, but it was just the worst experience of your life. And you start to block out things as you grow, and you you start to numb out things and you start to take these broken pieces of yourself and you're like, what's happening with time, right? And then you're in high school and then it's penting up, right? All that builds up, every recklessness of trying to decide and figure out who you were as an individual as you're just coming into being yourself.
Right.
Like, no one can control you for that, right?
Yeah.
And then I think when you get to the point of high school, like, you found kind of a stationary little bit of who you might think you are, whether it's sports that you excelled in or music or specific subjects. I think I would have excelled in a lot if I would have stayed consistent or focused or understood how to grasp my mental focus and not stay so stimulated on protecting people and involving myself in so many unnecessary things that were very reckless.
Yeah.
I think they would have given me a lot more emotional support during times where I needed that for myself.
Yeah.
And didn't demand it from others or needed to fit into social statues to just take hold. You know what I mean? I was a leader, but I didn't know how to lead. I was like, you're just influencing, and it sometimes can get really bad when you're trying to influence and you don't really know.
Yeah.
You're saying one thing, but you're doing another.
Yeah.
Right.
And I still work with that in my day-to-day of healing, is like being intentional with my word and being intentional with my placement and where my mental and spiritual values are. It gets so hard to learn those things, especially so young. And then I started seeking more into violence, like around freshman year. That was when I started getting in trouble with the law for physical violence. Like, I had a bully growing up through different areas of my life, and a lot of them were different, but I couldn't control those lash outs, you know what I mean? So all my protective parts were up to defend myself and fight the world. So I was able to be kind, but I also could shift, and I also could just numb out and disassociate those points of my life and fight for my life, like fight, you know? I got reckless with it. I got in trouble for that, when early adolescence. I didn't learn from that first experience. It taught me I was strong. It taught me I could physically defend myself.
Yeah. And
then it became an long time thing, you know?
It basically told you who you were.
Yeah.
Right.
In that moment, like, it gave me strength without strength I didn't know I had, because my strength was a voice before, right? Like, but even then you still don't know how to vocalize your wants or needs or what you're struggling with or your addictions or your tendencies or any of that. I didn't know what any of that was. I didn't even understand it. I was just a fueled, like, child / adolescent working into emotional responses in environments where I was trying to learn all the new ways to problem solve. I don't know. I'm trying to problem solve that young, or even then everything's just like right now. Like, you gotta, what are you gonna do? Respond. And a lot of it, when you don't have that, when you can't step back into logical, it's emotional. It's just like, wow, this is hitting me at one time. How do I respond? And a lot of the time, if I didn't have the tools or resources, which I didn't for a long time, but I didn't know how to express that. I didn't know how to express that. I didn't have the tools or resources to vocalize emotionally what I needed during that time. I responded, and a lot of it was just aggression, because I couldn't understand those emotions of anger or any of that, which also put me in vulnerable situations young to get involved in just unhealthy environments, like the worst environments with partners. And
would you say that you're a lot like your siblings, or are you very different?
I think I have a lot of similarities to a lot of my siblings. A lot of my siblings, they're all superhuman, man. They have strengths in them that I never even knew could be comparable to siblings. Like, we're all so different. Like, all of them. Like, I have siblings through marriage that are running their own businesses, and they're creating the most beautiful families. I have a lot of siblings through marriage, and it's so cool because they're all different life. Like, I look at them as little, like, life maps, right? When I tell you guys that I zoom out in my life of, I really have lived so many different lifetimes and seasons with marriages. Like, those are different family values and different social morals that you're adapting in. And then you have different siblings come in, and you have different coaches and mentors. And And to be able to have that many siblings in my lifetime, like they were all blessings. They all taught me something different.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing that I love about that is the lessons that I learned through mentoring during bad times. Like I remember the rough times with my younger siblings and us just getting through it together. I remember the specifics of me not being okay, maybe because I was young and partying too much and had too much to drink and I just needed to go home. And having those siblings that I can call in a safety net, knowing like they would be there no matter what. And they would take care of me the next day and they would never let me get in a situation like that again. Like that's something I'm very lucky to have. And being kind of the middle sibling, but the youngest of myself, it's like, I don't know. It's a different perspective. You get to see influences from all levels of life.
Yeah.
Like,
did your parents, you think, like, they noticed anything different? Like, they had to get you help at all? Did they try to get you help?
Oh, my goodness. My parents have seen every level of shift come into my life. I probably had emotional blocks that I didn't express. Again, I lashed out, and I was just this emotional little ball. But I just kept everything in. I held it. I put myself through nothingness, but everything all at the same time to distract myself from ever feeling those emotions to say my wants or my needs.
Right.
And I don't know, there's just so many things happening around you so fast. I think my mom definitely knew that I was fast. Like I was always on to the next thing and always doing things, and I always just needed to do stuff. I was always running around. I was always getting into things. Like it just was that little, I like just wanted to go.
Were you ever
since being a
diagnosed?
child?
As a child, I was that way. I just wanted to be outside. I excelled a lot in reading. Like I could read books. I'm writing 2 books right now. One is like a very emotional one. It's like kind of dissects my philosophy on like emotional healing with PTSD, because I have chronic complex PTSD, and I'm unmedicated, so I'm healing this. I'm just working through all these emotions, and I want to have clarity within those emotions and how they make me feel.
Which I think is super powerful for you to be able to recognize that and to take initiative on your own without
I want to understand it, man. I want the rawness in myself. Like trust me, I can tell you a million ways I've sabotaged where I've been such a distant friend, where I've disappeared off the face of the earth when I needed to be there for people. I can tell you numerous times that I've sabotaged connections and bonds with people because getting too close to them was the most terrifying thing, because I read about it in my book. Like, you're waiting for the next person to be ripped away from you without ends meet, or knowing if you're mentally prepared for that, whether it's a friendship, it's a family member, it's someone you love, it's someone you see, it's someone you care about. And at any point or another, the selflessness is they can be pulled away from us at any point in time. Life happens, death happens, transitions happen, movement happens. It's like I, in my head mentally for my whole life, fought in a river and held onto a rock as tight as I could. As tight as I could, I held on to that rock. And I watched the people around me hold on to rocks too. And I held on because I did not want to drown.
Right.
And I did that for years. I got abused from rocks and sand and dirt and tumbled and rolled and water up my nose for years, until I finally let go of the rock. And I realized that it was my own resistance that was fighting that urge, because I was just beating myself up when all I had to do was float. And at the end of the stream,
beautiful aha moment.
It woke me up. It woke me up to a point of resistance, like a rise, like a phoenix. Like you wake up early as shit. It's freaking 4 a.m. and you don't even know why, and you are ready, and you wash your face and you start ripping all the junk out of years and years of literal addictive, anxious attachments to things that you've never worn or held on to. Like, you just start cleansing yourself and your body and all the things in it that have put weight on you for years of your life. The anxieties and fears of grabbing your shirt and being like, I am tired of this. I can't do this anymore. And you grab it and you hold it in your hand and you're just like, I'll wear it. And you don't. And you don't. You hang it back up. I even tried to do all these different ways to like stop those addictive tendencies because I'm really bad at collecting things. I'm still purging everything in my life right now. It's like so many things. Random things like bags of like cutest bags ever. So many bags. So many of them. Like I have just the random impulses, right? Of like trying to understand where those tendencies happen, where I felt I needed that. And dissecting my emotions, I realized that came from lack of structure value. I didn't have or created for myself longevity within structure for myself to commit long term, to be like, okay, let me build here for myself, right now, in 5 years, right? For me, right? How does any woman that can say they want to build, any person can say they want to do it, but we also have to build everything else around us. And I think that's the most terrifying thing to have to shift is breaking and learning the habits that for years have drowned you in your own sorrow.
I feel like that's what we kind of do in here sometimes when we unload a lot of heavy baggage that we forgot about or purposely like didn't want to bring up again, but just reopening those wounds. And I love when Sandy finally first told her story because I never knew that she went through all of that. But as she was talking, you can literally see her light up as she's continuing to talk about it, and just it released. And you could just tell by the end of it, like it was a whole new different Sandy, but it was like a good Sandy. And it was like she was healing while she was talking about it. And
scared shitless.
Yes, 100%. But for me to be able to watch that and rewatch that, it shows a lot. Like, it shows a lot of courage. And I messaged her and I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I know that was super hard because it is always hard. And I even told her, I'm like, I'm proud of you. Super proud of you. And so I think for you to be able to have that beautiful aha moment and unload all of that without any help, that's your purpose. Your purpose is to be able to teach people how to do that.
I have so many resources that I want to overflow on.
And I think that would be so beneficial for a lot of people, even for us as we're still healing. Because when you go through trauma, you're never going to heal all the way. There's no possible way.
It's years and years of problem solving and fighting all the resistant urges to react, right?
And being open
to be human and being woman, like to be like, I'm allowed, right? Like, I'm allowed to be a woman, and I'm allowed to have a vulnerable space in a tribe of people who have selfless love to give. And if we aren't creating that for people, then we're not being human. You should be a human being, right? Not a human doing. We're here doing things, but you're allowed to be safe, and you're allowed to feel vulnerable, and you're allowed to have that space to find your goddess, you know? That's what women do. That's why we're here for each other. It's to bring people together, to create a safe space, to feel that, and to feel those emotions in a safe area.
Safe square.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. I think I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of all of us. I think there's a lot of things that we have as expectations, right? A lot of them are self-created. Probably bounce all over the place with all these conversations because they're so heavy, but I wasn't always nice or affirmative. I was an abuser. I became an abuser. I became a violent person because I was just so scared of people physically hurting me. Yeah, like when you go through actual violence with somebody when you're so young and they physically harm you or put you in harm's way or threaten your life in a way where you actually fear that you may die. It's a different level of experience, especially with intimacy, right? Like you're trying to be intimate with your partner and your partner threatens you with love restriction, but they're also abusing drugs. So when you're young and in this and you're fighting and trying to hide all this because of embarrassment and you're just humiliated, like you're like, I don't want to be like the statue that everybody is already going to portray for me, which is the worthless addict who isn't going to amount to anything because I already lived a life of failure. And a lot of my childhood and like adolescent stuff, it haunts me all the time. Like I said, I wasn't a nice person. I wasn't the best person. I was I was an addict myself. Like, I partied a lot. I was reckless. I don't even know. I think about some of the things that I've put myself in, and some of them were the best moments of my life. I was able to bond with some of the craziest girls and men and listen to their stories. Like, gosh, I have the craziest stories with people I've only met one freaking time, where I was just so mindfully present on my
trauma bonding is a thing.
Gosh, so much, right? And I dove into that. Like, I didn't know my purpose value then, right? Like, we're all as individuals trying to find our dharma. What is your dharma?
Well, and you knew that you were strong too. Like, you told me stories of like you being a bartender. In
oh my gosh, I started so young.
With like biker gangs and stuff, you know. And she would just be like. Like, she literally was
crazy.
Like, she ran it, essentially.
It was so wild.
And she had just that, like...
That mighty
power. Yeah.
I knew I needed to love people in a way, right? Like, I don't know, you go through years and years of non-love and so much love around and not understanding real love and authentic love or love languages. Like, I'm 34 years old. I turned 35 in July, and I'm just in learning what a love language is and how to understand them and dissect them and feel them, right? And receiving and understanding, and like, it's the hardest thing, honestly. It's so uncomfortable, and it's just the weirdest thing to be like, what are your love languages? And when people are empathetically empowering, Sandy's known me longest. Sandy's known me the longest since I've lived here.
And there's been moments where I've had to be like, Jessie, what are you doing?
Yeah, she does. She has to slow me down because I was running on stimulants, man. Like,
for a minute.
So many jobs. How many jobs? There was a point where I had
fumes.
Oh my gosh.
Snacks. Like,
I was. Yeah, she literally would have to stop me dead in my tracks because I was in survival mode.
Take a breath. I can see you need to take a breath right now.
I was a track star.
Let's watch cartoons.
I was working like 5 jobs at one time.
And then I was like, and then you'll be fine. Like,
see, I'm that with you.
It was crazy.
I'm that friend. I actually was driving to, like, right now out of my job, just right across from here. I was running over to change my shirt.
Yes.
And I was counting, and I was like, I have my business. I do the podcast.
Well, you're zooming out, right? You get to reflect on your reward of everything that you literally have right here.
I do my podcast, the podcast, and then, you know, like the nonprofit. I'm part of the nonprofit. I have a second job as a bartender.
So
I'm a single mom, trying this new relationship, and doing events, and there's like 5 other things that I'm just like. And trying this new restaurant thing, too. And
I think that's incredible. I think you're achieving...
No, you're doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're achieving all of these right now.
Like, this week, I don't have my kids because we just started the summer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? Like, there's so much, there's going to be all this room. I have so many things I can do now. I literally don't. But I tell myself that I do just because I have 5 extra minutes. Like, last week, it was like, I'm getting off work. I got to make sure the kids are fed. I got to make sure I tell them, hey, you got to do this. That's the only thing that I'm missing right now, today.
Yeah.
Okay? But I feel like there's something missing because I'm not rushing, like,
to go.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, well, I need to chill.
I think what's amazing about, like, you saying all those tasks that you're accomplishing all in whole circle is, like, look at the 3 year ago you that would have been accomplishing the same exact tasks.
Yeah.
I think back to, like, gosh, emotional responses to normal day-to-day things. And it was the end of the world for me. If something took over, I didn't know how to problem solve. I was such a mess. I needed all of the support. And Sandy, like me saying Sandy being my longest friend, like, gosh, I met her when I first moved here, but she was able to see all of the inner parts. She's seen, like, the wounded parts come out. She's seen the reckless me. She's seen the levels of me that numbed out, that blocked out. She's had to, like, grab me by my face and be like, I love you. Like, I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You're resistant. You're shutting down. Like, look at me. I love you. And I didn't realize for years and years and years that I actually did that because I didn't know how to communicate.
Well, and I finally had to tell her one time, I was like, Jessie, I love you, but please don't run away from me. Of all the people,
yeah, she's like, don't you
one
go
person
anywhere.
needs to know where you are. And I was like, please don't run away from me. So I'm like, and it wasn't sometimes she just would.
You just know.
I would just disappear.
Yeah, and sometimes
She
I would
feels
just
it.
know, and so I would just.
She would reel me back in. She reels me back
like
in.
just. I mean, I know
They come
sometimes
back.
life is hard, and you do like sometimes that is easier to
To run.
It is for some people. Like for me, that's what I do because I'm supposed to be the strong one. I'm
Well,
supposed to be
safe,
there
right?
for everybody.
So you feel safe. And I think we learn the strength from, like, I get my strength probably definitely from my mother and my grandmother. Like, the resistance and the strength that they carry as women. Like, I think there's something special in that because our mothers, as stubborn as they are and all the stuff that we've been through with our parents, like my mother and my grandmother have a womanly strength. My father, oh my gosh, he's so strong. He's so strong. His mustache and his big cowboy hat gives him like 20 more extra strong points. He's so scary when those things are ready looking at you. But I mean, even my stepmom, like everybody has played such a vital role to strengthen to who I get to be today. And I've had lots of step parents as well. Like all of my step parents have been extremely strong. Like I think it's all kind of showered me like little sprinkles over top of the human being that I get to be. But I actually think the biggest difference though with healing and transitioning and shedding the skin off your day, right? Like transitioning out of your shell and trying to see color for color and not for just black and white, but seeing actual color.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that reflection for me thanks a lot of them. It thanks all of them. It thanks every person who's played a vital role into the woman I get to be today. And that's my failed relationships. That's my abusers. That's the people that I've abused. That's like the violent lash outs and all of the stuff that I know over years and years and years of healing, I fully have to take accountability for.
You know, I was going to just say that.
Yeah.
I like that you take accountability, not always being like, you know what, I'm the victim all the time.
Oh my gosh,
that you're
I
able
was
to
terrible.
say,
There
you
were
know
times
what,
in my life
I'm
I was
taking
so
responsibility, and I was responsible for some of the damage I've caused.
Oh, 100%. And I know I've sabotaged a lot of wonderful things that had potential to go far. And I'm aware of that. And I had to grieve in that shame. I grieved in that shame. I grieved in that shame alone. I didn't talk about it with people. Because how are you supposed to be a vulnerable version of yourself if you can't even talk to the people that you care about the most about the things that you can't be around or don't want to be around? Or I didn't have those social skills. I lacked the social skills to vocalize when I needed actual support. I could check in. I love checking in. I love making sure people are okay. I think about them often. I think about them almost every day.
But do you let people do that with you?
It's not an often thing that I could even slow down to be present with, right? And I'm the person in all of my friends, the closest friends that I have, they know me as, like, it's an actual joke. It's, like, became a thing. We call them quarterly meetings. Like, I have quarterlies with my friends, and because they know that my phone is, like, time management with my phone has really been a deflect for me. It's been probably one of the biggest, hardest barriers that I've had to try to dissect and break through. And to some, it's a phone, right? They're like, it's a phone. It's a simple phone. It's a thing you respond to. But I am struggling with immersion. I love immersion. I'm such an immersive person. I'm immersive emotionally.
What does that mean?
I like to involve and feel all of the parts of the things that are happening around me. And when I'm working, I love my work. Like, I want to love my work. I've failed in environments of work where I didn't have value or I didn't feel like I was doing a good job. Like, we self-destruct with our own insecurity, trying to show people that we're capable of doing the task, you know, and I've taken full awareness of where things could have been better, but I've also been allowed to give myself grace and learn from those experiences and know, like, you as a human being are allowed to shift your environments, right? Like, we're not forced to do anything. We're just trying to float through life and survive and provide the best for ourselves and for others that we're supposed to take care of and learn to love ourselves along the way. And it's exhausting and it's hard. It's terrifying. Like, to look at yourself every day in the mirror and to just be accepted of the version of you that you get to be right now. There's something terrifying about that darkness of not knowing what the negation is going to be. It's the negation of connection. it's finance, it's awareness, it's longevity. It's like trying to not take on all the things that are happening around you, but being strong enough for yourself while being strong for you. And I have different levels of strength from different people. And I have a daughter. She is 16 years old, and she is just insanely strong. She is probably one of my biggest mentors, and she has such wonderful family bringing her into a structured lifestyle right now. And there's nothing more than I would ever want than her to have the same friends since, head start to now, to have a graduating class, right? Like to actually have a graduating class with all of her friends and her achievements and everything she gets to talk about and her memories in one spot. Like, I'm still learning how to be the best version of myself for her and for my family, for my aunt and for my uncle and my grandma. All of them. Like, I'm trying to learn and adapt through every little shift that happens in my life that has a role in who I get to be tomorrow. Yeah. And I think us as women trying to find our dharma and our placement in this world, it's a lot of nobility. Mm-hmm. You gotta be able to look at self-reflection while calmly taking stride into what you're exuberant about. Like, what makes you excited? Like, what things make you feel levels of passion? Like, what do you romanticize? Is it your coffee? Is it cooking? Do you romanticize cooking because you're creating? Like, I don't know. Yeah. A lot of the PTSD and the traumas for me have taught me that I have a craft in cooking, and I have a craft in empathy, and I have a craft in involvement. And when I mean immersion, I want to immerse myself into the parts of things that I don't understand. Because for a long time, I wanted to know it all. I thought I knew most, and I talked above and talked beyond, and I didn't really sit back into what I was working through. I was just like masking. I was putting on all these different levels of versions of me that needed to vibrate at a certain frequency, when the whole time I just needed to release all of the shells and be myself. Because I think we we go back into a position of victim mentality of violence, right? Like, you think that you're failing and everything is falling apart right in front of you and you're losing grasp, and it's like you're hanging onto the heaviest bag on the tallest bridge and your hands are slipping. And you don't know what's going to happen when it drops, right? Where it's going to go, who it's going to fall on. You're just hanging on. Yeah. And it's like, how long of our lives do we have to hang on to a heavy bag before we let go? And it's like my awakening moment, my aha moment of floating was knowing that when I was resistant, I was taking on the abuse. I was fueling the addictive tendencies. I was putting myself in environments that were really, really unhealthy. And Sandy's seen me do all levels of that in toxic environments and in healthy environments. And she stayed my friend. She stayed there to remind me that I was learning, that I was a human, that I was involved. I shamed myself a lot for my past. I shame myself for my parenting. I shame myself for my lack of judgment in relationships. I shamed myself for the violence I accepted for years. I shamed myself for the violence that I put onto others. And it's just like clay. Like, you're just clean 1 minute and then you're just covering yourself in clay. And it's just all these things that you went through and that you contributed to. But that's the conflict, right? That's the social moral, which everything flips upside down to be like, I'm ready to stand my ground, right? And then when you flip everything back upside down, you realize that all those little things that brought you into the emotional screams that you yelled to the world alone, it was you who got you through that. And it was you who needed to get you through those experiences to show yourself the strength that you can give to others today. And if your dharma and if your purpose isn't giving back to others, like, reflect on yourself, because it's already giving to so many people. It's being able to have self-reflection. Like I'm trying to affirm that I love myself every single day. And there are the days that is the hardest thing for me to do, because I have so much shedding to do in my shame. It's just transmuting that toxic shame to positive shame. And podcasts have helped me a ton. Centering with my body have helped me a lot because my nervous system, it reacts, man. Like my nervous system reacts in a way that is like diaphragm to chest to palm to clench to and I feel so guilty sometimes because in friendship conversations, like I can have these random waves of those moments happen for no reason. And I disassociate and I'm still in a conversation. So it's like you're two different people.
Yeah, that's because your mind and your body are on two different levels, especially when it comes to a trigger or a smell or something. Your body will sense it first before your brain catches up.
Yeah.
We were talking before this briefly, and she said, the last time that I saw you at the bar, and that like out of nowhere, she's like, my mood just shifted. She's like,
so nice.
Guess who I noticed? And it was
it was just a person.
One of her abusers. She had just sensed it and she felt it, and it was just like, it was triggering in a way that she hadn't run into him in so long. And
it was a long time.
I had noticed it there. I didn't see him, but I had noticed it, and I
just dipped out. I think I just left. Did I just leave?
Yeah,
I just left. I escaped. And she's watched me be like, because I'm so not that way around people. Like I'm so good at hiding it. Sandy's watched me years and years of my life. Like she's watched me in the most vulnerable, raw moments where I could have been invisible. And Sandy's like, I see you there. Yeah. Hello, human. I love you. Hi, I'm here. Even if you don't see me right now, hello, I see you. So she's seen all these different levels of my emotions. So she got to see... She can read me very well, like my body language. We're bartenders. I mean, me and Sandy, we actually started working together because I'd known her for so long, just working in the bar that she did.
Caters.
Yeah, caters. Yeah. And so we just connected and we just had this energy that we knew just
Isn't it so nice?
Even if she would literally quarterly meetings, like she would disappear for 3 months, 4 months. And then she would just, I don't know,
come back.
Yeah, right around the corner.
And then she'd be like, do you want to work a cater with me?
And I'd be like, cool, I could use your help.
Yeah, make some money. And then we work a couple days together. Dress up fancy.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't it great, though, like, when you find that person? I dated somebody that romantically were not compatible, but there was nothing I could hide.
Yeah.
Like... Even if we weren't talking, he knew that there was something wrong, and he'd just show up.
Well, so Jessie was my hairdresser. Like, on a whim, she was my hairdresser. And that was, like, the other thing, too, was I was, like, trying to do stuff with my hair. She's like, do you not know that I'm a hairdresser? She's like, just come. And so, like, that was kind of how I started opening up to her about what was going on in me being irritated at home. Like, so she was one of the few people that... Because you were able to be vulnerable. I was able to be vulnerable. I had the safe space to do it. I knew she wasn't going to judge me. But I also knew, like, she wasn't going to tell anyone. Like, who was she going to tell? Like, it wouldn't... I could get it out until...
Then you were safe.
And then I was safe. Yeah.
Yeah. And it, like, restarts also. Like, I feel like when
my internal clock of when my next trigger is going to happen. Like, when my next...
Yeah. Because there's sometimes, like, when I'm going through things, and it's just, like, I'm just, like, twitching pretty much. And then as long... Like, I'll call Angelica. I'll call, my other friends. And I'll be like, so this and this happened. And then, like...
Like you're calm down.
And then it goes away. Like it doesn't even like affect me anymore.
Yeah.
I seriously feel like that's a nervous system thing too, because I like as I moved here to reset and start over, and that is a whole nother depthful story of even like where everything began for me. Like my life didn't even really fully start until I moved to Idaho. Like that was my new beginning. That was my clean slate. I had an attempted suicide, and I was almost successful. And there was so much built up, and there was so much I couldn't even dissect. So when I moved here on a stimulant, right? Like I needed to reset. I needed to find love for myself. I needed to love myself again because I had already, at my lowest point, hated my body and physical entity to its point of lowest level, right? So when you're coming out of that, you don't have an identity. I don't feel like I didn't have an identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was meant here to be. I didn't have any dharmas. I didn't have any nobilities. Like I didn't even know what I was floating, right? You're floating and you're just trying to grasp your feet on the ground and create a reality from a dream, a lucid dream. That's real, but it's lucid, right? It's like the most realist, non-realistic thing. And so healing through all of that, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I have always believed spiritually and intuitively that I had craft with my hands, but my power was going to be my voice. And it was, I'd hoped it was going to inspire and influence other people to learn and grow for themselves, or maybe take something from mine and put it to them in their day-to-day, or maybe inspire them to want to be better. But you don't realize those things until you go through all those little moments, right? So when I moved here, I accomplished everything. I did every job I ever wanted to do in my life. Like I did
just
it.
Just to say she did it.
I just to achieve that, because not a lot of people know this. I mean, very few. The people that know. I have best friends that are all over the States. I have this wild, crazy best friend named Kelsey. She's known me. She's probably been my longest friend. Oh my goodness gracious. She's just such a wild cat. But she got me through the darkest times of my life, because I didn't know anybody else who could be there for me like Sandy was, and I had support, but not a lot of people knew what I was going through. So when I went through all my transitions, I was told that I wasn't going to be able to have a lot of strength in my left hand. Like my grip strength was never going to be the same, because there's so much nerve damage done. And I was very, so very close to cutting all of my tendons. So I would have had no mobile function in my left hand. So by chance, it didn't happen. And then by chance, there was a guest surgeon there from Portland who did a whole trauma unit class at the hospital on lacerations. So when I went in there, I was under the influence. So I had to be awake when they had to do all the stitching and stapling. It was like 43 stitches, 23 staples. And I had to be awake and coherent with that. And so there's just all these anomalies and these crazy things that I never really took into consideration until you start dissecting and working through those emotions and your why and what got you to that point, and understanding where you felt so not heard or seen, to react in a way to remind yourself that you're alive. Like, can you still bleed? Can you still feel like, are you a human still? Like, or what you're doing, is it right? Is it wrong? Like, you're asking so many questions, but your mental state doesn't have the support or hold it needs to gather the information it has. It's just gathering and gathering and gathering and gathering. And while there's gathering, there's projection of past things that have been said from strangers and from people. Like, it's just an overload. It's like a vortex tornado of self-sabotage from your subconscious that is just negative thought. And it just breaks your spirits, breaks your values, breaks everything that you ever thought you believed was right for yourself. And you react in that moment to response. And I had no emotional control. You have no emotional control. You react. And so all of these things taking into play, I did not expect in my life, when I reset my whole life from the violence I was creating upon myself and the addictive tendencies that I had, and all of the stuff that I even did to myself, like the lack of love to myself, like actual love to myself, genuinely, like I love this person. It taught me unexpectedly that I was going to be placed here in healing with my hands. So I moved here and jumped into the hair industry, and then dove into culture and got the most immersive hair experience, and built relationships with clients locally for years. And then did coffee, like Dutch Bros Coffee, brought culture and life and love into my life. Like, they saved me. They taught me family love, man. They taught me how to break beyond like what you could achieve. Like,
there was more for you.
Yeah, that there was so much more for me, and that my expansion didn't even begin with a cup of joe, but a conversation and a hello, how are you? And something in that resided in me permanently that I'm going to live by for the rest of my life. And that family, I love them to death. Like, all of those people.
Because the truth is, you never really know what someone is going through.
Yeah.
Because we really are great at putting on
a mask.
Yeah. So,
they accepted me and just loved me so hard.
Yeah.
And
you can feel it, honestly.
You can.
Like, I haven't stepped into Starbucks in probably 2 years because I just love the energy that Dutch Bros has.
Well, they taught me a lot. Like, I was able, before COVID happened, there was just a lot of things got taken away. But I luckily, and I'm so grateful, I have so much gratitude to be able to experience these levels of motivational speaking, because I flew and I went to motivational and leadership meetings, and I was just taught like the value of like goals and dreams and aspirations. But when you're lacking the tools and resources and how to use them, you could just absorb knowledge. Like, I'm an absorber. I like to absorb things around me that take initiative into my day-to-day and how I can maybe effectively use it for healing for myself or building upon myself, because I don't have a lot of those skills. But coming here and doing all the tasks that I did and putting myself courageously in all of the career fields that I have, I think it shows you parts of a woman of strength that you didn't know you had. Like, because we are the only ones who show us, unless we have emotional support, like, we can do this, right? Like, we're getting out of this stigma that we believe that we only had purpose, value right here. Like, we only were good right here, when our whole lives we really didn't even see beyond that negation that there was a whole world out there, and all we had to do was take the first step. And for years, so many people have just believed in me and wanted me to take the first step. But how is one supposed to take the first step if you don't even realize that you've been falling? And when you needed to just stand up to be able to take the first step, you know?
It's hard to just let go.
Yeah. And then you're falling, what way? Falling backwards, upside down, like you're spiraling, and you're waiting for that hand to grasp you. But the hand isn't a hand. It's you pulling yourself out of the ground and rising above all of the negative shit that was put on you, and all of the emotional baggage that you carry from people not seeing you at your most vulnerable levels of your life. Like, like when you were screaming to the world, like, just listen, just hear me. Like, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is how I need support and I need love, without feeling inconvenienced or too much or too emotional or too sensitive or too little. Like, I feel like there's all these different levels of books, and I have been diving into divine feminine and just feminine energy and empowering energy for self. And I'm working on it right now. I'm trying to dissect for us as individuals a healing breakthrough to do it in a year, right? So like, you could achieve a lot in 30 days. You can create habits in 30 days. You can achieve a lot in 6 months. You can achieve a lot in a year, right? 365 days is a lot of commitment for self-love. I think it's really hard to get a week straight of self-love without pampering and bubble baths and saying that's self-care, but actual self-love. Like love that's like, I will put good food into my body today, or good words. I'm going to put good spiritual beliefs into my day. And you're going to believe them, right? Like, I think good habits... We get taught by random people to have good habits. And so I think if you can zoom out as individuals and look at the traumas that we've been through, the negative experiences, and you can hold them and grab them and put them in a tiny little box and have them right there. And you can look at that big whirlwind, whatever it looks like to you, of that medium that brought you to be the woman you are today. And you can pull those things out one by one. Look at them visually and see how they make you feel. And if it feels heavy, understand it and believe it, and believe that what your intuition is saying was right. And believe that all of the doubt that you had in that one little thing right there that is controlling the parts of you that you feel so restricted to, you can learn about it. And you could become one with the shadow version of yourself, right? Like, we have our shadow parts. There's parts of us that are dark. There's parts of us that they are us. Like, I have mine. I find my demons a lot, but I'm aware of where they need to be fed. I've manifested and shifted that negative energy to something present and mindful. Like, I'm trying to learn about my nervous system. I'm getting into running. like I really want to run. And it does something for my nervous system that a conversation can't.
Right.
Breaks me free. It shows me my strength. Like, instead of running away, I'm running to. I'm running into, right? Like, I'm running into, and you don't know what your body's capable of. Like, challenge it. Challenge your body. As women, I tell you to challenge. Like, I want to make a group for women who don't know what their bodies can do. I'm still learning. I don't even know what my body can do, but I signed up for my first 5K last year. And it was the most exuberant experience of my life. I didn't tell anybody. I just went and ran it. I was like, I'm going to go run this 5K. And I did. And it was beautiful. And I kicked butt.
Good.
You did it for you.
Yeah.
I did it for me, and I cried a lot. You don't expect it. You don't expect that to come in to your life and your heart to beat that fast. You don't expect your legs to be able to pull that far unless you're fighting for your life or fighting for someone else. You don't expect you to be able to breathe so deep, so heavy. And you don't expect to stand at the end after you're done running and to have so many random people tell you good job. It's something completely different.
It's such a weird feeling, such of an accomplishment when you just cross that line. It's like, I did a 10K and I'm like, I know I can do this, but
I want to do 10 now.
Crossing that line, getting there, and like you say, having all these people congratulate you, you have no idea who they are, but it just makes you feel so good because you're like, I did it.
And everybody's tired and you're sweating. You have people that are on the ground like they're about to pass out, like, and they're like, good job, man. You're killing it. And you're like, oh, who are you?
Yeah.
Can I give you a
that's the best feeling ever.
It taught me a lot about myself. But it taught me how I can influence others. I actually was able to get into a connect with this woman. She has a group on Facebook. It's phenomenal. It's called The Righteous Rebels. It's a running group. I met her. I actually went on her live and I was on her podcast. She has a wonderful podcast that she does as well. And she has like morning mojos. She does all of these intuitive present things, and it doesn't matter the weather. She'll go on a run in the freaking blizzard and snow because she's committed to her Monday. And her partner just create so much exuberance for people. But that was the first person who got me confident and comfortable to talk around people about your vulnerabilities. I just randomly met her and I was like, can you take a picture of me? This is my first 5K and I don't have anybody here to take one. And she was so stoked. She was the most happy lady in the whole land. And then so...
Isn't it crazy, like, when you meet somebody and, like, it's like you were supposed to be there?
I hugged her.
It's like how the universe just, like,
brought
puts
us
people...
together.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It happens all the time to me.
I ended up, like, learning so much from her. And I actually... It's crazy. In my bag, I actually carry... So, on the podcast day... she gave me this book to read and I carry it with me. I have it still. I still carry this book with me. Yeah, I showed Sandy. It's actually her partner's like journal entries, like, and it's just like a personal book and a memoir of like what she got through her personal traumas. So it was a very vulnerable thing for me. And I have many friends who have given me very selfless, raw, vulnerable books that I know changed their life. So I'm trying to understand that value of what those are. But I don't know, when you meet people, you learn from them, right? Like, I'm sure you guys all have an incredible story and you're still working through challenges and obstacles. Like, this is my year of, like, rebirth. Like, this is the year for me that I accomplished the things that I was so fearlessly scared to jump into. I want to climb mountains. I want to hike and backpack mountains. I want to climb rock walls. And I want to achieve tasks bigger than what I can get paid. as, income and expense. Like, I just want to not work to die. I would love to be able to create bonds and have selfless connections that aren't fueled through a paycheck. Because I want to be more present and mindful of my connections with people and, I don't know, other women who are healing and growing. Like, I have so many of my friends right now going through the biggest changes of their life, and it's hard seeing from a distance. Like, but I also know that I need to be present with myself, and that's the biggest and most hardest thing to do, right? When you want to start setting dreams and aspirations for the woman you're becoming.
Right.
Like, that's the area. That's the area that everybody's trying to see is who am I going to become and what do I get to become? There's something exciting about that.
Yeah.
It's like the light at the tunnel that is to all of the things that we don't even know.
And you're like totally saying my dream, because that's exactly what I set myself out this year.
Yeah.
I said last year was just my survival year. Did not know what I was doing. I was just fighting every single day, accomplishing a lot of things, not for me, but for my kids, for my family, for my home. And this year I'm like, you know what? This year is my year. This year I'm going to travel. This year I'm going to do this because I'm going to go out. Because last year I didn't go out at all. Like, it was just
you're
my
just trying to make mindful connections, right? And that's what I want to do is I realized that the connections I was making, I mean, they were very repetitive, but I think at some point we make connections, but we get into autopilot. Like I say it's robotic in a certain sense. Like I don't think it's intentional. I don't think we mean to. I think genuinely we're trying to juggle and balance everything. Like you're trying to balance being a good parent or a good friend or a good sister or a good mother. I don't know. Like you're trying to juggle being confident within yourself and loving your body and loving your job and loving the new people that are in your life and letting go with grace the people that you no longer serve or serve you, right? Like it's this constant totem pole of shifts, and it's just how do you not get consumed by those little shifts while still trying to be open to connection and still being open to knowledge and experience. Like it's like to hell to the wind to the wall, you guys. It is a lot coming at us at the same time. So much.
A close friend of mine today that she did that same analogy, but she did the analogy of dodgeball, and you got so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the perfect analogy of the average thing that a woman carries and we go through, and yet we do it, and we hear it all the time. Like people say, like, how are you? Given you hear your story, and then how are you still just this happy? You know, and it's like because there's more than what that was. Right. Like, and it's. Sometimes it hits you at different times, but...
And I feel like it affects, like, as you become older, too, for me, it affects my personal relationships today. Like, as a grown woman trying to connect with people selflessly, like, without my protective parts always being up. That's with friends, that's with family, that's, like, keeping them at arm's bay, right? Like, protect yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most terrifying thing. Is that selfless vulnerability where you're like, okay... I get to be with myself.
Yeah.
But that aloneness within loneliness, you have to be able to differentiate like both of them, you know? And I used to use this tool a lot when I was going through things. I would do like reflection and deflection. So to ground out my body, if I feel like I had too much coming at me or too much happening. And I told Sandy this years ago, and even in hair appointments too, I'd like remind her, we'd like have this conversation and kind of give us some grasp and control back over our lives. So,
because it was like therapy. You go have your hair done, it's therapy.
Yes,
each party gets to release whatever the heck they're carrying at that moment, and then you get to see the beautiful hair afterwards, and then you go. So like it's cool.
So when I would tell Sandy, I would be like,
it's a safe space. Sometimes, and you mentioned it the other day. That was your hairstylist was your closest friend. She was the one that you did. Yeah. Let know what was going on at times, you know?
Yeah. So. I used to say if you're having a bad day, you hold your mirror in your hand and you look at it. And when you're holding a mirror in your hand, whose reflection do you see? You see yourself, right? And as you're standing there, wherever you are, and you have your mirror in your hand, you turn it around, what do you see? Everything. right? You're getting everything. You're getting the environments. You're getting the emotions, the anxiety. You're getting the abuse. You're getting the love. It's everything. It's all entities of things. It's people. It's birds. It's sounds. It's trees. It's cars. It's jobs. It's like, it's everything. Can you imagine like how much that is in a reflection? If you're holding a mirror, okay, and say you're looking at that mirror and you turn it around, how much is actually happening on that other side of that? Right. Can you understand how that would make you feel? And how fast and how involved and how immersed. And when you're feeling that, I would tell Sandy, I'm like, just turn your mirror around. And then I would be like, hold your mirror. And then I would grab her hand. And I would tell her to give me her hand. And I'd pull her to me. And I was like, who's in your mirror right now? And she's like, it's me and you. And it was like, that's it. That's all it takes is the grasp of knowing that you can grab your mirror and you can turn around and you could put your mirror in any direction and see what you want to see instead of taking on every single thing, the partnerships, the relationships, the connections that are demanded, the expectations that are thrown at you, the job expectations. Like, are you happy with your 9 to 5? Do you want to be a business manager? There's so many parts, right? There's so many parts to us that we can dissect. And I've experienced all those levels of parts. I've loved them. I have sabotaged and been the best. I've been the worst. I've been adaptive in environments. I've given a little bit when I could have given more. Like I fully am aware of where I have been good and not been good. But the one thing that I've learned in all of these life experiences is that it just makes me more passionate and excited to meet more people and to talk to more people about what the heck they're working on to get them through their day to day. Because there's something empowering and divine about talking to a stranger and then hiking a mountain with them the next week. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of freedom. It's not just, what is your name and why are you here? But what is your name and like what could happen? Yeah. Like, you know? Yeah. That's how I met her. I watched her grow through all these levels and shifts, and all the jobs I've done have networked me.
She saw me, like, she knew me when I was going through my counseling. And so when I went from my past relationship to then the relationship that caused me to go into counseling and then getting into my now relationship, she just was the person that like reminded me of the work that I had put in and to just remember where I had been, what I was doing right now for myself and to not immediately throw myself back into old habits out of fear that I wasn't going to be able to find love in a healthy way.
Yeah, like healthy, connective love, right? Like,
so, I
think you're doing amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
She was like part of your saving grace on that.
Yeah, well, and she was one of the people that knew that I didn't even, at the time that I was sharing things with her, I don't think I recognized that she was helping me to give that little bit of release, but she did. Safe. Yeah, because I did feel feel safe, and that's one thing that has always, even with life kind of gets busy sometimes since we don't get to see each other as often as we want to, but every time we get to, we just connect back where we were. Right where we were. And
our quarterly meetings are becoming it's awesome. Less quarterly, but yeah, she's been there through a lot, and a lot of people here have been here for me through everything, and I've had people pick me up when I didn't want to be. I've had people drag me out of nothingness and just remind me how capable I am. So I wouldn't have a lot of the strength that I have today if it wasn't for the connections and the people that I've met here. I genuinely want to love all of the people that I have selflessly, and I'm still learning that love within myself too. But I want to be able to have guidance and support to have a realistic connection, you know, for long term. And sometimes I'm really bad at creating those spaces because of how present and mindful I get with my careers and my jobs. I get so involved that it creates such a disconnect, and it is easy for me to look at a phone and to have 38 unread text messages or 12 missed calls. Lots of emails. I have a lot to say, But it's so hard for me to connect with a cell phone when I don't know, I wasn't that way growing up, you know. I worked a lot. I was always outside doing stuff. So the social connect and reconnect is definitely new to me. But I'm trying to be aware and present of when I'm disconnecting or disassociating and being more immersed with my job. But with the year of transition and shedding, right? Like, this is a year that we don't keep all of our stuff within ourselves. Like, we don't have to be a part of manipulative behavior or violent lash outs. It's never your fault. No human being ever should use physical violence or means of yelling and belittling and screaming and breaking things to ever prove a point. And it took me years to realize that, but it also took me years to realize my level of violence as well. And to know how destructive I can be with my words and how mean I can be with my thoughts and the physical that I put onto others in a negative way. I would never want to mirror that or project anything like that onto another person again. And I want survivors and I want victims of any abuse, whether it's sexual assault or physical or mental, spiritual, I mean, any levels of abuse. Yeah, financial. Like, there's so many different levels. Like, I just want all of that. Men too. I mean, men are victims. Men survive. I have friends who have almost lost their lives to their partners, and some people that have actually lost their lives to partners. And it's devastating to grow up and to be in a world knowing that it's unpredictable as a person wanting to harm another person because they love them so much. There's something uncomfortable about that, but everybody going through the things that they are, like, I just say find your tribe of mentors and speakers and believers and the people who see your beliefs and they believe them, because we need that. We need more people to say, I believe you, I trust you, I hear you, I see you. And you can accomplish anything. I mean, through fear, just discovering your dharma and discovering the things that make you feel warm. Finding the things that make you feel fuzzy inside. And when you're having a moment to be a woman, crying to the depths of cries and screaming to the depths of fears, and knowing that you can roar. And your roar isn't a way to be heard through violent situations, but it is your roar. It is mighty because you're a woman, right? Like, we create life and we nurture and we mend and we cry over friends and we cry over partners and we cry over babies and we cry over parents and we cry over shows and songs. Like, we're crying. But gosh, how cool is it that we have the allowance to express an emotion that can bring such selfless connection. I love crying. It's cool. But I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful.
Thanks for being here. It was honestly, I had been wanting to ask you to come on the show, but I hadn't. And she comes into my life when quarterly meetings, and I hadn't talked to her for a while, and so that's why I didn't reach out, because I was like, I know she's starting her new business, and she's doing this, and she's doing that, and so she's go. But I just said a little, right before I closed my eyes, the day before, and I just said, if Jessie's meant to be on our podcast, she will reach out. And literally, my phone sits on silent all day long. All day long. And I don't pick up my phone because I also, once upon a time, my phone was my work. And so I detach from my phone, because I've also been in relationships where the phone has been a huge problem, whether it be that they're going through them or because I was working and that phone was my work. They didn't understand that was my work. And so it was, it goes further beyond that. But my phone is always on Do Not Disturb, and I very rarely will pick it up and open it. Not only did she not message me via text, but it was literally just a video that she sent me on Messenger, and I literally just giggled and said, hey Jessie, what are you doing tomorrow? And then it just kind of, it worked out. So it was amazing and I didn't know exactly what she wanted to share. I know, like, she just barely touched the surface. I think mostly she focused on your healing, and I love that part, because we do need to embrace that we can go through so much, but there is also
that
the
grace,
beautiful.
right?
Yeah, there is also
that
beautiful.
grace.
Like with the tragic, there can be.
Well, and that rise above, right?
Yeah.
And trying to dissect those emotions in a realistic way to understand, right? Like I talk a lot about a frustration that affects me even today. Healing retreats. Like actual places where women can go safely and to heal. Like they're so expensive, honestly. Like it is such a discussion it has bugged me. It's made it hard for me because while I wanted to create adaptive spaces,
How beneficial they would be, but they're also it's
hard to
to have that awareness,
inaccessible.
So I wanted to create a structured value with women for connection, for people with connection, and I'm currently working on it, and I'm going to work on it for a year. I've started it, I've wrote it out, I'm starting it, and the categories that I'm breaking down, anybody can use it in their day-to-day life, and it's that 12 months, right? Because 12 months, a lot can happen in 12 months. And I wanted to show you guys before we ended so you can have an idea of what could happen in 12 months. I am calling it the 365-day wake up. So it's your reset. Your first month is going to be your month of grace, which is your month of introduction. That is the month of which you spend the time working with yourself to introduce you to the world, right? To your dharma, to your purpose. Your next month is going to be your month of companionship. That is going to be the month of build. That is going to be the month of which you connect to yourself and to others of who you've pushed away or maybe just didn't make time for. Your third month is going to be your month of vulnerability. That is going to be the month where you start to see the shells come out as you're making yourself more vulnerable to experiences. Your fourth month is going to be transparency. That is raw. That's open. You've been vulnerable, but now you get to be see-through. You get to let people see parts of yourself that you fought off for many years for protective parts. Your fifth month is going to be consistency because you've already been working towards your day-to-day. Your sixth month is your month of gratitude. That is your sixth month. That is 6 months into grace. That is finding 6 months into self-reflection, making sure you're present and where you want to be. Then it's tough cardio. Tough love, tough cardio for yourself, tough love for yourself. Your 7th month is going to be your month of allowance. 7 month of allowance is rebuilding upon yourself. Your 8th month is awareness. Your 9th month is accountability. Your 10th month is breaking ground. And your 11th month is foundation. And then your 12th month is longevity and fortitude, which is courage and bravery. So if you can break down and dissect all of your personal traumas and zoom out and look at them in a timeline of personal experiences where you had to react differently than to respond in a way that you were taught, I think that gives you a superpower. I think it teaches you something about yourself that you never knew existed.
Correct.
I love being here and I love learning from you guys. And I love having Sandy.
I do fully feel like things always happen with purpose. Things always happen for a reason. And when you walked in, the light about you is exactly what we needed today.
Thank you.
And it is exactly what all of these victims and survivors are going to be able to pick up on. And I love that you embraced your healing journey in your way, because there's so many people out there that are like, well, I don't want to go talk to random people. Having you be able to shed light on that, to let go of that damn rock, is huge.
It is. It gives you a sense of purpose, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to experience, but at least you know you're not in the same spot getting trampled on over and over again. Like how many wounds do we have left to bleed before we realize that we don't have to take that anymore, right? And it's when you let go, your body becomes lighter and you're now floating on the surface. And while your wounds are battered and you're bruised and you're broken, there's parts of you that kept your head up above the water. And when you float down, you realize that you can stand up and you can get on shore. And when you're ready to jump back in, you float and you let everything happen. But you have the strength and courage to come out of the experiences that you're living in. Because once you're out with personal experience, I don't know, it just, I got so passionate and exuberant about life. I love life. I love it so much. I think it is such a blessing every single day to be able to freaking wake up and have that random frustrating moment where you're grumpy, but you're so excited for your coffee, or you're so excited to finally shower and wash your hair even though you don't want to, but you take pictures of yourself on the days you're actually ready to show yourself like, holy shit, I look really good and I feel good today.
Yeah.
It gives you those days when you're walking through the store and you're carrying your confidence a little different, you're smiling more, and someone says, I really like your energy, or I really like your smile, or you seem like a really happy person. It's that genuine gratitude that's selfless. Like, I think people need to be more loving to each other in a way that's not possessive or objective, but we're honest, like humans. Like, I love humans, I love people. I think we're all meant here to have some sort of purpose, value. And if it starts with a hello, or setting a boundary for yourself, that's no, I'm not interested. And you're allowed to do that in a safe space, or have people to support you while you learn those tools and resources to have those communication skills.
Yeah.
I think we could all learn a lot from each other. I think victims and abusers and, oh my gosh, even the people who haven't experienced abuse, who are wanting to be compassionate towards the experience, I think that itself is an army of people that are coming together. So absolutely. I think the domestic violence centers here in Idaho Falls contribute wonderful means. I think the survivors that tell their stories contribute like the most necessary means. I think your guys' stories, and even him putting a part in this, is creating a safe space for people to be expressive on a level that maybe they haven't felt comfortable. So to be able to create that for strangers is incredible, because you really don't know what anybody has been through, but you could have an awareness to know that they're putting themselves in a vulnerable state to be exposed to that, which could be heavy. So I think it just brings people closer together, and I think that it makes victims and abusers and survivors be realistic on empathy levels of what they can receive. And I'm proud of everybody who stands up for themselves. I'm proud of all the women that vocalize their wants and their needs. I'm proud of all of the women that have had to get up off the ground themselves and let go of the rock. Like, holy shit, that's a strength that you cannot put into words. That is a strength that you cannot even dissect to put onto paper. That's blood, sweat, and tears of acceptance. That's pushing through of levels that were not there before. You're kicking your door open. Because it's a scary thing, right? As you said too. You said you're kicking through your door, right? There's something terrifying about the unknown, but there's something so exuberant and exciting knowing that you have no idea what's going to come at you on the other side. I'm proud of all of you. I love you guys. I think it's wonderful being a part of this community. But being able to be vulnerable and honest. And I know it's a lot of zigzagging, because when you're talking about these moments, it comes at you in a movie, film, right? You can talk about all the things that we've been through, and I'm sure I'm sure that we can like get into the specifics and the details, and I could totally, but I wanted to give an open, honest, compressed view of what it's like to be a human being and a person who's healing and working through their own self-sufficient values. Like, I'm open to experiences, and I'm open to knowledge, and I'm open to learning the things that I don't know about myself that I've yet been there the whole time, you know? So loving oneself, and if I can accept that tribe of people and keep allowing and receiving the things that are happening for me, I think I'll be very successful. So I'm hopefully building that strength for other people, and to be maybe a mentor to them or coach them during times where they feel defeated, because I know we all feel defeat. That's just a thing, but we rise above it. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to hear a little piece of my life, and I hope that this book that I'm writing, and I hope that all of the incentives that I'm creating can help other women as well, or even men, get through some heavy stuff that they feel like they can't carry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope to talk again with all you guys. This is such a wonderful experience.
It Begins With Us is supporting podcasts for 1614 Revival Foundation.
Please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever possible. That really helps the show reach more people.
You can follow us on social media. The links are in the show notes. Do not hesitate to reach out. See you next time.